I've got a couple of quick tips for better snow photos. First, I want to talk about keeping your gear protected. When it's snowing or raining, I like to ditch the strap and keep my camera in something like this messenger style bag. It provides easy access, but when I'm not shooting, it provides a weather protected shell, so I don't have to worry about it. Even when you're out in snow, most of the time your camera is still going to be a little bit warmer than freezing and the environment around it, and so as that snow is falling, it's likely to melt on it. And if you keep it away when it's not being used, that's less moisture hitting your camera. The other thing you want to watch out for is when you bring your camera back inside, suddenly you have a very cold object in a warm house and all of that moisture in the house wants to condense on it. You want to let it warm up slowly and without getting all that moisture on it. And the best thing to do is to put it in one of those gallon Ziploc bags. That will let it warm up slowly, minimizing the amount of moisture that's getting on it or condensing on it, or even worse, in it. And once it's warmed up, you can then bring it out in room temperature. Now, I get a lot of questions about how cold can these cameras withstand in shooting, and I say you have to check your manual, but personally I have found my cameras to be quite happy to shoot along in much colder temperatures than minimum listed in the manual. Your mileage may vary. One thing that will be greatly affected is battery life, so keep that in mind. Your battery life is going to be much shorter in cold conditions, so you want to bring along a spare or two, and keep those spares someplace warm. An inside jacket pocket is usually great, and that, when you go to switch, will then allow you to put in a battery that's going to last a lot longer than if you put in a cold one that's already been compromised. Now, I always advise folks to be kind of thoughtful and careful in composing a scene, and it becomes even more so when you're coming up to a snowy landscape. It has happened to me more than once that I'm tromping along looking for that perfect, beautiful, snowy landscape photo and realize that I've walked through it and left behind big, nasty human footprints that ruin the look I was going for. So be really cautious and careful and just pay attention to where you're walking to make sure that you're not ruining your photo with your own footprints. Now, cameras are always trying to expose at this 18% gray value. And that means your white snow on default settings is often going to look very gray. That doesn't make for very nice pictures. So you're going to have to adjust your exposure compensation or shoot in manual mode and watch your meter. You usually want to expose by about a stop. That can really vary depending on the conditions you're shooting in, but you definitely do want to overexpose. However, watch your histogram to make sure that you're not losing detail in the snow. You can't tell just from looking at that tiny little picture on the back of the camera whether or not you've got all the details, so you want to go through your camera's functions until you can turn on the histogram. You're looking for that highlight section on the histogram and make sure that it's up near the top, but it's not off the chart. Off the chart means detail has been lost, hasn't been recorded, and that will be stuff in your image that is just pure white, and it's not going to look realistic and it's not going to make for a nice image. Camera's auto white balance often seems to get fooled when shooting out in snow, tending towards a much blue or blue cast look. So you want to watch for that. If you're shooting in RAW, it's easy to adjust in post-processing, but if you're trying to get it look correct straight out of camera, you want to play around with that white balance setting. Oftentimes, if you're not shooting in direct light, your cloudy setting will give you a much warmer, true-to-life look. And the last tip I have for you, and this is a general tip, it's not specific to snow photography, but I want to remind you that the best pictures are often the ones where your subject is filling the frame. So let's, for example, take you taking pictures of your kids sledding down a hill. A speck on a little plastic sled surrounded by a sea of white does not make for a very exciting picture. Use your zoom lens and get in very close. Fill the frame with their expression as they're flying down the hill and the snow is flying up around them. That makes for a much better picture. Get in close. If you don't have a zoom lens, put yourself in harm's way. The pictures that I've seen of kids barreling towards parents, both horrified that they're about to run over their parent and having fun at the same time, makes for wonderful pictures. I don't actually mean for you to get run over by sleds. Please be careful out there. But those are fun photos. Hey, if you found this useful and you're not already a subscriber, please hit that subscribe button. That's an easy way to thank me for my time. If you are a subscriber, or you just became a subscriber, take a moment and hit that thumbs up button. That's another easy way to thank me for my time. And share this out with friends and family. Thanks so much for watching. Have a good day.